Hi, welcome to more yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. Once again, outside, loving this outdoor yoga while we have the time. It's sort of, I don't know, I feel like sometimes we get disconnected with nature, particularly in times like these, like in COVID when you're supposed to be staying at home, or I don't know. How often do you get to practice yoga outdoors, actually on, wobbly ground that isn't necessarily the best for stability, but allows you to look up and see the trees. Anyway, maybe you'll take this video outside into a park and put your headphones on and join me. If not, you can imagine that you're in the great outdoors with me. So I'm going to pretend today that I have wrist issues because that's something that a lot of people have in yoga or in general, but manifests itself in a yoga class, right? This position of being in, pretty intense hyperextension of the wrist. And it can be a very supported position. And I did a couple months ago, I did a class about um, wrist mobility and strengthening. But some people aren't ready for that even so much, right? Like you get into a position and you get locked or you get a lot of pain through the wrist. So I'm going to try and remember at least to pretend that I've got those issues. So instead of anytime we're on hands and knees, I'm going to be on my fists, or I might recommend being on forearms. Any way that you can keep the wrists in neutral. Sometimes even having a block under the hand just gives that little bit of extra grip strength to help protect the wrist. So aside from that, it will just be kind of a normal, fun, playful yoga class, but we'll work with wrist strength. So find a tall seat. You can be cross-legged or on your shins. You can have your legs outstretched if you wish. And then for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh. Your breath away. A couple more. Continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. Notice how your breath is flowing, whether it feels really open and free, or maybe you notice some sticky or choppy spots along the way. That's totally normal. If so, you might gently try to lengthen through those parts of the breath just to smooth it out a little bit more. You might notice the gentle rise and fall of your belly or chest, or the softening of your rib cage with every exhale. Last few breaths here. And gently start to flicker your eyelids open. Inhale, release a little bit of tension here. And then make your way into a cross-legged position. So rather than crossing at the ankles and sort of like the yoga way to do it, sit like you would if you were a kid at school on the floor. So the legs cross, right? And kind of tucking the ankles underneath your knees. It should be an easier position, but not necessarily easy. So you can always, bring pillows or anything underneath your knees to give yourself a little bit of support. You could also sit up on something to help tilt your pelvis forward, and that would give you a little bit more space. So wherever you need to be. I think of inhaling to lift and lengthen through the spine a little bit more. And as you exhale, start to come forward. Right, so you might just stay relatively upright, coming forward on a long line, and see how that feels on the low back. If that is all right, then maybe you start to round. So getting into the glutes for sure. Maybe the low back a little bit. You might let the crown of the head start to wrap down toward the floor. You could always bring a block or a pillow underneath your forehead. If you don't have a block, you could bend your elbows and bring your thumbs to rest on your forehead, or rather to rest your forehead on your thumbs. Last couple breaths here. And then slowly inhale. Come back up to seated. We'll cross the legs, the opposite leg in front. So sometimes it can feel a little bit weird having the different leg in front. Find that nice tall seat again, and then slowly start to come forward. Again, starting on that long line. And it's a subtle difference, but there is a difference depending on which leg is forward. Maybe it doesn't feel great on the low back today with this opposite leg forward, so you stay here. Maybe it feels better or the same. Maybe you start to round forward, right, as gently or as deeply as you need to go. Maybe on this side you feel it more in the glutes or the butt. Maybe you feel it more on the outer thighs. And then slowly, on your inhale, roll yourself back up to seated. Little wiggle or shake out, and then make your way to hands and knees. Now, if you are not experiencing any tightness in the wrists, right, then go ahead and place your palms to the floor. One way that you could practice is up on fingertips. This takes quite a bit more strength, quite a bit more activation, but you can see it keeps those wrists in neutral. Or maybe you're on your fists. Sometimes people like putting hands on blocks. I find that this actually puts more tension on my wrists, so it really just depends on your body and how you feel. I'm going to go with fists today, and as you inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through the lower back, broaden through the collarbones, and then exhale, round through your spine. So a few more of these cat and cow undulations on your own time, on your own breath. And then maybe you start to add in a little bit of natural movement along the way. Anything that feels good here. Move how you would like to move. And then slowly, gently come back to center. Little draw of belly button to spine. You might stay up, or maybe you come down to your forearms. You're going to shift your weight forward into the hands and knees. If you're on your forearms, maybe you walk your knees back so that you're in a low plank with the knees on the floor. Some of you might tuck the toes, lift the hips up, low plank on the forearms with the knees lifted. Wherever you are, squeeze the bum, squeeze the tops of the thighs, draw the lower ribs to the sky. Your parallel, our forearms could be parallel. You might bring the hands together, similar to as we talked to in that class about pigeon. It's not pigeon, Pincha Mayurasana. And then exhale, lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog or dolphin. So if you're on your forearms, this is a great place to be. Really press the floor away from you. You could pedal out the heels. Maybe you're up on your hands in downward facing dog. Again, I'm going to demo as if I have wrist problems. Not problems, just, you know, not no issues. And then inhale, ripple forward to plank again. And exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Little wiggle of your hips from side to side. Untuck your toes, press the tops of the feet into the floor, so much so that feel your knees lift away from the earth. Send your tailbone to the back wall, belly button to spine. And as you inhale, lift the heart forward and up. Baby cobra. Exhale, lower back down. A couple more of these on your own time, on your own breath. Hands could hover even. Or maybe you take your fingertips out off the mat. And then bring your hands back to the mat or your forearm. Tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips up and back into down dog or into dolphin. So the transition to the top edge of the mat from dolphin, you can go ahead and try to hop your feet forward if you like to, but I guarantee you'll either face plant or flip all the way over. So you might come to hands and knees and then just step to the top edge of your mat. Standing forward fold, knees bent enough that you can rest your lower belly comfortably on your thighs. You could sway a little bit from side to side. You might clasp opposite elbows with hands. Little wiggle, little release. And then release your hands with your fingertips to your shins. Inhale, lift up part way, belly button to spine. Wrap the shoulder blades onto your back. Beam your heart forward and your sit bones back. And then exhale, let it all go. Couple more on your own breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Tuck your chin in toward your chest. Head heavy, arms heavy. Slowly start to roll up as slow as you can. One vertebra at a time. Until eventually you come all the way up to standing. Fix your clothes. Couple loops of your shoulders. Up, back, and down. Little wiggle or release wherever you need to release. And then feel a hug of the legs toward each other. Tailbone to the earth just till you feel the belly button engaged toward the spine. Shoulder blades on your back. On your inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe follow with your gaze. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth. Forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Same thing. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, melt to the earth. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Last time. Inhale, lift up partway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Pause here. Eyes open or closed. Hands in prayer or by your side, and just feel and breathe and notice. And gently flick your eyelids open. Shake it out a little bit. And then send all your weight to your right leg. Find that little buoyancy on that supporting leg so that the knee is bent, belly button to spine, shoulder blades on the back, and then pick up the left knee without hiking up the hip. Take a few easy pulses up and down on that supporting leg. I really could have picked a more stable place to put my right foot. Kick the heel of the bum, lean forward. Keep the pulses going. And then slow it down. Inhale here. Right arm comes forward. Exhale, reach the left leg back. Left arm comes forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale, bend that supporting leg. Reach the left leg back. So a couple more of these on your own time, on your own breath. Right, playing with this stride. Really strengthening the glutes on that right leg. Inhale, back up, knee high. Pause here. As you exhale, step the left leg back all the way for a high lunge. So you might need to adjust the width between the feet, making sure that you have hip width here. And then bend the back knee to start with. Woo! Bring the arms to cactus. And then bend a little bit more. Inhale up and exhale down. Couple more. The next time that you bend down, pause here, and then think of supercharging the back leg towards straight while you keep that bend on the front knee. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the top of the thigh, belly button to spine, shoulder blades on the back. Maybe you inhale the arms up to the sky. So really strong work on that back leg. It's where you're going to really find a good base of support. Maybe you inhale, lift the heart a little bit higher. Exhale, start to bring your hands to the earth. Now you might be on fingertips here or fists. Gently lower the back knee to the earth. And then inhale, come up to half kneeling. Hug the legs toward each other, squeeze the bum, belly button to spine, and then shift forward into that front knee. Just gently rest your palms on the front thigh. Really squeeze the bum on that back leg. You might gently push your palms forward to send the shoulders back. Your back toes could be tucked, they could be untucked. And inhale the arms up overhead. Grab hold of the sky with your right hand as you exhale. Sweep the left hand to the earth. Now maybe you're on your palm. Maybe that doesn't feel good. So you could be up on your fingertips. You could be on your fist. Right, wrap both shoulders onto your back, particularly that bottom one. You don't want it jutting forward. And then take some big sweeping shapes with that top arm. Any direction. And then slowly come back to center. On your exhale, shift your hips back as you extend through the front leg. Keep those front toes pointed to start with. And see how that feels on your shins. If you're not getting much sensation at all, then start to peel those front toes back toward your face. Now you're probably feeling it into the calf muscles as well as the hamstrings. Draw that back hip forward, front hip back. Belly button to spine. One more inhale here. One sweet exhale. Good, inhale, come back into that front knee. Tuck the back toes, and then slowly start to pick up that back knee. Send your weight forward into that front foot, picking up the back leg, and then bend your knee. Inhale, come all the way forward and through with that left leg. Exhale, release. Whew. Little wiggle and reset. Let's send all the way to the left leg now. Pick up the right knee and get those pulses going on the supporting leg. Kick the heel of the bum, lean forward. Keep the pulses going. Bring the knee forward again. Slow the pulses down. Inhale here, left arm forward. Exhale, reach that right leg back. Right arm comes forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale, reach. So again, a few more of these on your own time, on your own breath. And yes, it is wobbly, it is shaky, so maybe the toes touch down at the back. Maybe you're at a wall, so you can hold on to the wall as you move. Last breath here. And then on inhale, pick that knee back up. Exhale, step that right leg all the way back for a high lunge. Again, bend the back knee. And then bring your arms to cactus. Take a few pulses here, up and down. My back knee isn't bending quite as much on this side as it is on the other side, just because I have a small thing going on here. So do your body movement. Don't necessarily rely on mine. Okay, pause here, right? And then sink into that front knee, supercharge that back leg towards straight. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the top of the thigh, belly button to spine. Inhale the arms high, chill out on the shrug muscles. A few breaths here. Keep wrapping the right hip forward as you draw the left hip back. On your exhale, slowly sweep your hands to the earth. Release the back knee to the floor. And then inhale, come up for half kneeling. Hug the legs toward each other. Squeeze the bum. Belly button to spine, shoulders on the back. And then shift into that front knee. The more you squeeze the bum on that back leg, the more you're going to get into those hip flexors. Maybe you just gently rest the palms on that front thigh. You might press them forward. Inhale the arms up overhead. Grab hold of the sky with that left hand. Exhale, sweep the right hands to the earth. So again, maybe you're on fingertips or your palm. You could be on a block. You could be on your fist. Wrap both shoulders onto your back. Spiral those upper left ribs open to the sky. Maybe you start to sweep the top arm. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, shift your hips back as you extend through the front leg. Again, keep those toes pointed to start with. Draw the right hip forward, left hip back. I'm feeling quite a bit of tension on the shins, but even so, I'm going to try flexing the toes back and see, yeah, now I've got even more tension on the back of that leg, which doesn't surprise me because I've been getting weird leg cramps the last couple nights. It's almost as if I'm a teenager again. I'm not sure what's going on there. Last couple of breaths here. Right, hands might be on blocks. You might have them on fists. You might just have them on your hips to keep those wrists protected. And then slowly inhale, ripple forward into that front knee. Walk your fingertips forward or your blocks. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up. And then slowly start to send that weight forward Pick up the back leg and then draw that lifted knee all the way forward and through. Oh, that supporting leg is doing a lot of work. And then release. Shake it out. Awesome work. Oh, inhale up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, release. Plant your hands or your fist and come back to hands and knees. Little wiggle, little shake, whatever you need to do. Okay. And then start to send your hips back toward your heels. Right? You don't have to go all the way back here. The toes are untucked, so you're not getting, hopefully, too much tension on the soles of the feet. Couple breaths here. And you might just stay here. You could try something with me, and that's to bring your wrists behind the knees, one at a time, and slowly send yourself back. So you're getting a really great calf massage. Great is maybe a funny term to use here, but what you're really getting is a huge amount of traction in that wrist joint, and just hopefully releasing it a little bit. And then inhale up, switch sides. Last couple breaths. And inhale back up, come back, hands and knees, and then forearms again. Walk your feet back, and then shuffle onto your belly. Little wiggle of your hips from side to side, untuck the toes. Press the tops of the feet into the floor again, so much so your kneecaps lift away. Tailbone to the back wall, belly button to spine. Inhale, reach the heart forward and up. Back of the neck stays long, so look down rather than forward. You might stay here. You might reach your arms back along beside you, palms facing up or down. Some of you might reach the legs so far back that they de-weight as well. Coming into one long line here of locust. Some of you might even kick your heels toward the bum and grab the outside of the ankles or the feet for bow. And then exhale, release all the way down. One cheek to the floor. Deep belly breaths to release through the lower back. And then roll over to your back. And plant your feet about hip width apart, parallel-ish. Close enough into your bum that you can tickle your heels with your fingertips. Wrap your shoulder blades onto the back. Press your heels and your elbows into the floor. Inhale. Lift the hips up into bridge. Few breaths here. Some of you might stay here. Some of you might choose to lift a little bit higher, walking onto the outside edge of the shoulders. Maybe you clasp your hands behind your back. Last two breaths. And gently release any bind on the hands slowly. Allow the pelvis to come back down. Heel and toe the feet mat width apart. Allow your knees to hang in toward each other. Keeping your feet mat width apart. Do a little windshield wiper of the knees. The next time your knees are over to the left, pause there. You might just stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, you can think of picking up that left ankle and crossing it over top of the right thigh. You might be passive here, or you might squeeze the right bum to get a nice release through the hips, through the spine. And gently unhook the foot if it's there. Inhale, come back to center. And then release your knees to the opposite side, over to the right. And maybe this feels enough on this side. And just stay there. Or maybe you hook the right ankle over top of the left thigh. You might squeeze the bum or just keep it hanging. And then gently unhook the foot if it's there. Come back to center, a little rock from side to side. Hug your knees into your chest. If there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, it could be posture, breath work, or meditation, please feel free to go where you would like to go. Otherwise, find your pose of rest. You could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight. You could rest on your side in a seated meditation in child's pose, wherever you need to be. And then for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. With each exhale, feel your body melting a little bit deeper into the earth. Let go of all breath control, all muscle tension or gripping, particularly in your face or your jaw. Stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.